stroked out and died over it. You're watching a different show. It's donkey. You ain't a captain of nothing but a sinking ship. Don't do this to me, Harry. The Ohio State. It's Ohio State. What do you mean, the? 312-988-15.
Hello?
You tell Johnny all you've heard and seen. Sometimes it's good to just yell about football. That's right. Welcome back, folks, to the Notre Dame versus Miami pregame show. Let's break it all down. Man, I gotta tell you, I love this show so much. I love this show so much. It keeps me on my toes. I absolutely love it. The reaction to the WPP thing is awesome. I'm getting messages from people that I haven't talked to since the season ended that are like, dude, what is going on? Like, I just love everything about it. I love everything about it. It all cracks me up. It was just funny to me. I literally all day yesterday when I posted that cut up of that call, I was fielding text messages of people like, this is awesome. Like, I absolutely love this show because you never know what you're going to get. And the very best part about a call-in show is you don't know. You never know what you're going to get. And Johnny Boy's got to go with the flow, man. So I absolutely amazing. Absolutely great. He got the plot of Rocky 3 wrong. Dude, listen, I want to meet the man because I got him. I want him. Most of these people I can figure out. You get what I'm saying? Like, in your mind, you could figure people out when you spend enough time with them or you interact with people, you get to know them. Like, I feel like all of you that are here regularly know me. Just, you know how I am, you know, my weird humor, like the food thing, like all these little things. You get to know the community. I want to know this guy. I just, out of genuine human interest, I want to have a beer with the guy and just try and figure out all the things in his Irish mind. So I don't know, but in honor of that discussion, which I'm not mad about, and I enjoyed, Catholics versus convicts, baby. Today's the last day of spring ball. Freeman's talking, and then guess what? Miami pregame show for 4 months. We're breaking it all down. Thank you for being here. Seriously, I love this show. You never know what you're going to get. So good morning to everybody. Thanks for being here. All the regulars, good morning, good morning, good morning. I got a few people lined up that want to talk early. I'm going to shut my mouth for once, and I'm going to go to the calls early, and then I'll get into a couple things I wanted to. I got no childcare help this week. I'm all messed up, so I might have to end a little early, take care of some things with the 4-year-old here. So I don't know. It's just interesting, man. It's just, yeah, Pat. I'm going right to the callers first. I promise I'm not going to monologue for 20 minutes like Jimmy Fallon on the late night show or whatever. I promise. No, all right. This has come up. A couple people have asked me this. This has come up and I want to address it. No one that's ever called this show or interacted here nicely or as a troll to get me worked up. I'm telling you, multiple people have asked in the last couple days. No one I've ever interacted with here is a plant. Meaning, I've never gone to somebody behind the scenes and said, you know what we should do to ramp up the ratings here is you call in and present this idea that you know I'm going to get mad at. And then I'll yell, and then you instigate it more, and then get me mad, and then we'll blow up the rankings, or like call with this angle to stir the pot. Bro, we don't need to do that. This is Notre Dame land. It happens automatically. I don't need to do that. Are you outside your brain? I don't need to do that. The Notre Dame whole ecosystem presents its own angles. I'm telling you, I've never, 3 different people have asked me that in the last day. Never have I planted a troll here or did some setup to make it more entertaining. And to be honest, I think a lot of this stuff ends up better when you don't try and do that. Like anything more organic is always going to pop better when you get the initial reaction of it, not something where I have time to think about the angle, what I want to do. The whole point of the call-in show is raw reaction. You just don't know what you're going to get. You don't know what you're going to get. And I genuinely, I'm not mad. I'm not mad. I'm not offended. I by that conversation. Everybody can come from this wherever you want. I just think it's interesting that he sees things so differently than I do about a lot of different things in Notre Dame land. And I think that's pretty healthy. I have no issue with that. But I'm just telling you, I've never set up a plant being like, or even with Pat when he's on the show, I've never nudged Pat on a text message and said, oh, hey, Pat, say this and then I'll get mad. No. Those things are best done when they're organic and they just happen. They just happen. Pat says, I'm just happy you're starting to get the blame for Indy losing huge games instead of me. People still blame me for Iowa State. The saddest phone call after the 23, not 24, the saddest call that came in 23 on the postgame show after that loss to Iowa State. Poor Rodney, man. Poor Rodney had a long night, a few drinks, and he called in and he said, Pat, this is all your fault. You took him lightly and you said we didn't need to worry about it. It was all your fault. So I guess it's going to be my fault from now on. It's fine. I'll take the responsibility. Man, I don't know. Zachary, I don't know. I don't know what the deal is, but I can assure you there's no setup on my end. As always, thanks for being here. If you're on hold, you're going to go to the air. I'm going to go to the calls early. We're going to do the best we can here. Rocking the Catholics First Convict shirt. Maybe I should just wear it every day for the next 4 months. I might do that. There's nothing wrong with that. Thanks for being here. You can find the program on YouTube. If you haven't hit subscribe, please do. I appreciate it. Give the video a thumbs up. Appreciate that as well. Notifications on that way you don't miss nothing. Twitter, search bar, Always Irish. Always Irish Inc. Emails, alwaysirishmd@gmail.com. Audio only. Anywhere you want it, you can get it. Don't want to see my face? Who's going to blame you for that first thing in the morning? Check it out on audio only. Call-in lines, 312-900-8815. Dial it up, tell Uncle Yanni Boy, oh, you've heard and seen. Notre Dame Fighting Irish brought to you by SI. Read all about it. Patreon.com/Always Irish. He's the former captain. He's the leading tackler. He's the man that's helping me ruin the 25 season by encouraging these guys. God, I love this show. I love you guys, even the trolls, except for that Michigan monkey. Literally, that Michigan monkey that I had to block the other day. I let him have his run. There was no creativity. I love a good troll. Okay. I love a good troll. I made my bones on the sports internet, social media, being a good troll for a lot of years. I love a good troll, but you've got to be creative. That's my issue. If you want to come in here and troll me, you got to come up with some angles. You got to come up with something. You can't be a boring troll. So when that Michigan monkey came in here the other day and he had the same old anti-Notre Dame tropes that you hear every single day on Twitter, and there's not one creative or innovative angle, not even a new angle, but an angle to get to the angle. Not Kurt Angle, a different angle. You get what I'm saying? There was no creativity, no ingenuity, nothing new, nothing funny, nothing witty. and I gave him his 2 hours and now he's blocked. Like, I will invite all the trolls in the world here. As long as you're creative, be creative as a troll and you could stick around. But I'm not just going to have you in here just copy and pasting the same tropes we've been hearing for 40 years. You're gone. You gone. He gone. Gas. He gone. He out. The college huddle. Eric, I like that logo and the little thing there. I know that's you. It's got to be you, right? Look at this. I'm going to the calls right away. John, are you going to root for Steve to beat Notre Dame? There's some wackos that want that as some sort of vindication. You need to get over yourself. Like Jay Carr, that's my answer. You need to get over yourself. If you are a Notre Dame fan or you're a Notre Dame media niche member, either new age or legacy, like there's kind of a divide there between like the younger crowd and the legacy crowd that do the media stuff. Here's the deal. You got to get over yourself. Like if you were holding that big of an opinion and you wanted to be proven right over time, and then you feel like the best way to do that is, even though you cover Notre Dame and you want them to win, you need them to get beat by your former quarterback to prove your little ego right. You need to get over it. You just need to get over yourself. You just need to get over yourself. Like, that's just not a battle worth winning, to where you're like, I really want to be right about Angeli. You know what would prove it? Ruining all of our lives by him coming back and beating Notre Dame. Like, no, you need to grow up and get over your ego. That's for sure. Let's do a couple super chats. And then if you're on hold, you're going to be on the air. We'll see. We'll go through it. We got some good callers here. Oh man. So many people thought Monday was hilarious. It was just great. Look at this. John, Apollo Creed is coming for you. I'm training in my basement. It's the eye of the tiger. Johnny's in his basement lifting weights. I'm not lifting weights waiting for a boxing match. I'm lifting weights because I know I'm going to need to fight if I end up going to the Miami game the way their crowd is. That's what it is. I'm not fighting in the ring. I'm just figuring I'm going to get cheap shotted in the head by some Miami white trash idiot when I'm down there for the game or something. That's what I'm training for. Today is the last spring practice, so I'd expect more transfers after practice today. Let me get caught up on the chats. I'm going right to the calls. I promise. That's another big question I got is, I was reading these tweets the last couple weeks. Oh, Notre Dame fans, be sure to check out the transfer portal. You're going to be shocked. I ain't shocked by one. There is not one single thing that's happened that shocked me with this portal. So I don't understand. What's the deal? Literally, I had people sending me the tweets saying, what are you hearing? And the tweets are coming from people in the know. Oh, Notre Dame fans, buckle up. You're not going to believe what's coming in the portal. You got everybody thinking the worst. What if it's this guy? What if it's that guy? I ain't surprised by anything that's happened at all. Not even it doesn't raise my blood pressure. None of this. So I don't get it. What are we waiting for? Or does everybody just love Notre Dame? They're willing to ride the bench just to be at Notre Dame? Awesome. I love Notre Dame a lot too. But where's this portal thing that's shocking to John? Steve Angeli leaving, not shocking to John. What is this, clickbait? Where's the action? And here's the other part I don't get. Jay Carr says, today's the last spring practice. I'd expect more transfers after practice and the rest of the week. But here's my question, my retort, if you will. What are you waiting? If you're leaving Notre Dame and the writing's on the wall that you're not going to play and you're buried on the depth chart or whatever it is, or it's not working out, what is the impetus to make sure you finish out spring practice before you hit the portal? Like, is that just a courtesy? You're going through the motions one more day, then you're going to leave? Like, I guess I just don't understand. I guess I don't understand if you're going to make that decision, why you feel obligated to, like, stay in the structure of these practices. But what do I know? I don't know nothing. Look at this. Today's the last presser, last opportunity to convince the chat moderator to make a 300-pounder the fullback. That chat function is the pinnacle of the pressers. If they take it away, we shall riot. Here's the deal. I went into in the season, one of them games, I went into that Freeman's Monday presser, whatever chat. Bro, I typed one thing in and they put me in timeout the whole time. I'm on the radar, man. I'm on the radar. I literally typed one sentence and I don't even remember what it was. I'm sure maybe it was snarky. I'm in timeout the whole time. They won't let me type anything. One sentence I type, and the second I hit enter, I'm in timeout. What am I, 7? Son of a buck on the chat. You know what? If somebody really wants to be a plant and do all this, somebody needs to make a son of a buck account. And it's just their account, and then it's a buck, and the buck has a kid. And then every time I say son of a buck, you do something. There's an idea for somebody creative. Just like we had Wendy's, Ronald McDonald, and Burger King, and Omar. In the middle of the season, look at the action I get. Wendy's, Rick Donald's, Burger King, and Omar to make me feel good, even if I eat all of it. Even if I eat all of it. It's, man. Let's get into these super chats, then we'll go to the calls. Eric, my lawyer in Michigan, $20 holla. Upcoming season will be exciting with a new high-quality QB. CJ will break some records before he leaves Notre Dame. Eric, I like where your mind's at there. That is one guy living in Michigan that does not have MFBD, and it's great to see. He's all for ND. I'm in a goofy mood today. Give me a break. Don't bring me down, people. Don't bring me down. Just let me roll with it. I'm kind of depressed. After today, we got like 4 months of nothing but debating if we're going to beat Miami. Apparently, we have nothing for the now. I'm depressed. It's all over. We're past blue and gold. Now we're going to have to entertain ourselves all summer. What are we going to do? Pilney, I got to thank you, man. You donate a lot, and I genuinely appreciate it. You keep the bills paid up in this dump. OSU didn't win the 23 game in South Bend. ND gave it to them in the last minute by poor coaching. Run Estime, and it's over. You are 100% correct. And you want to know what my biggest argument for that is? You didn't even have to, if you decided in that final offensive series to simply hand the ball to Estime, 3 downs, and whatever happens, happens. Those plays don't even have to be successful. They don't even have to be good. And you're going to force them to use their timeouts and run the clock way down, even if you don't gain a yard. And you run the ball 3 times with Estime. After that 11-yard first down run, you said, okay, we're going to hand it to him 3 more times. You say you get 0 yards 3 times in a row. They still have to burn whatever timeouts they have left. And then you're wearing the clock down, you punt it, and it changes the whole thing. That's what bothers me is you didn't even have to run good plays. You just had to run the ball. Do you get the difference? You don't have to run good plays to get first. You just had to run the ball. Anyways, I ain't trying to think about that. Too painful. Scar tissue that I wish you saw. Dude, that is big-time scar tissue. $10 olive from the Pilney. It's not a legitimate title for ND unless they beat OSU along the way. Exercise those demons. It's a thing now, like the major bowl losses used to be. There's a contingent of Notre Dame fans. There's a contingent of Notre Dame fans that reach out to me often and say, we got an Ohio State problem. We got an Ohio State problem. And you got to go back, like 100 years or whatever for the last time we beat them. And then you have the overlapping narrative of that being the culture Marcus Freeman cut his competitive college football teeth in. All of that culture, Tressel, what they had going, like that's his background. Like, but I hear that a lot. Like, John, we got not a Notre Dame problem. We always have a Notre Dame problem. Just give me a minute to think of one. I'll come up with something. An Ohio State problem. $10 olive from Dr. John. Between the commander and the monkey, I age 117 days Monday, and I can't afford that. You running out of time? Running out of years? 949. Call me back in a few minutes. Dr. John. And if you're on hold, you're going to be on the air. What's up, Doc?
Well, I'll tell you what, you're a lifesaver.
What did I do? That's scary.
No Notre Dame
That's scary.
Well, I'm gonna try to explain that. It's colder than something I can't say. So there's no golf. There's no Notre Dame football. I woke up this morning terribly depressed. I thought, I have two choices. I can call you or go up Mount Livingston and jump off that cliff. And I kept weighing the pros and cons, and it kept coming out pretty equal. So I flipped the coin, and here I am.
I appreciate that. Wait, well, I don't want to get too far into it. What is the cause of this depression? Is it simply that football is going to be gone for a few months? Is that the cause?
It's too cold to play golf here.
Yeah. Even here, it's starting to warm up enough where you could wear a T-shirt and get out a little bit, Doc. Maybe you got to you're like on the Oregon Trail heading out west, man. You're in a tough part of the country for weather, brother.
That's true. Well, I said, heads I jump off the cliff, tails I talk to John, and finally the third time it came up tail. So here I am.
I was going to say, what if you want to have a busy day? You can talk to me and then go up that mountain. You can do both.
Well, I guess the big news is all the Angeli haters can calm down now. What the heck are we going to talk about now for 4+ months?
Yeah. Listen, is him to Syracuse official, by the way? I saw all the tweets yesterday that he took a visit there, and that they were saying like a bunch of crystal balls came in for him to end up at Syracuse. Do we know if that's a done deal or not? Or does anybody have any strong thoughts about that as a landing spot for him? Because I saw that looked like the most likely destination. So I don't know.
Well, I tell you what, I was trying to read chat as you were talking. You want to repeat that?
Syracuse looked like I was seeing him predicted to Syracuse, and I just don't know if that's a done deal yet or not.
Oh,
yeah, I don't know.
All right. Yeah, I did see Syracuse. Man, I don't know. By the time the Syracuse game rolls around, I don't even know if he'll be starting at Syracuse. So,
yeah,
have they got a quarterback that is rated higher?
Well, correct me if I'm wrong. Didn't Ohio State starting quarterback from 23 transfer, and then he went to Syracuse last year? But what I don't remember is if he has another year of eligibility or if that was just a one and done. I don't know. So I don't know. It'll be interesting. And of course, if we play him, there's a lot of intrigue there. And so it'll be interesting. So I don't know, man. It is, we're in a weird spot, Dr. John. We are just sitting here, and now we have a few months to ponder whatever's coming, what this quarterback shakeout's going to be, and WPP's right in a way. Every day you check off the calendar is another day closer to Miami, and that's a real thing. I'm not trolling. That is a real thing now with the period of time we're going to enter.
Yeah. Well, I tell you what, I don't have much wisdom to share with you. You did not answer a question on chat last Friday. Maybe you got off too quickly. You got any plans for a Saturday night show?
Yeah, we're gonna get that going. It's about time. Maybe, yeah, spring ball ending. I mean, I don't have an official plan. I'm not gonna be able to do it every week, but we do need to get back into those. So I need to crank those up, and we'll do that. They're a fun way to pass the summer weeks, man. And everybody cracks a cold one. We have a laugh. There isn't the pressure of the season, like the immediacy of that pressure. So we'll stretch out a little bit.
Well, and I like the fact that there's usually an over or under on Cotter. So, the number of Miller Lights or whatever he's putting down. So that's always fun for me. That's assuming my wine and cheese haven't kicked in too much.
Yeah, those summer shows are fun, man. It's just a different vibe. And when you do the night show, you just get a different crowd. And then if you do a night show in the weekend, people have a couple pops. It's a different vibe than the morning vibe. And you could feel the difference. And then you have a blend of both. It's fun. We'll get back into it. Good call.
Yeah, it does add a little spice to this old guy's life. So,
that's what I live for. I live
to see that happening.
I live to spice up your life, Doc. Believe it.
Hey, well, you saved me today.
Good.
Saved me today, bro. Yes, you did.
Oh, Doc, I love you, man.
Now I can. Hey, I love you too. You have a great show today. Keep the faith and keep it rolling, buddy.
Oh, thanks. Have a good one, man. And, climb up the mountains, but don't come down the hard way. Appreciate it. Always good to hear from the Doc. Pilney, $10 hour. Since I am paying your bills with my ND obsession and Frank Leahy anecdotes, can I get some always Irish stock options? We'll see what we can come up with. I'll try, but I really do appreciate it. Man. Let's bring up somebody who has not called in almost a year, 8 months, 404, and then a couple regulars after that. What's up, 404?
Johnny, what's going on, man?
What's going on? It looks like early September was the last time we talked. Thanks for calling. What's going on?
Dude, last time we talked, I think it was on the heels of the Northern Illinois game, which I don't want to talk about that. We're well past that now.
Okay, so in the last 10 minutes, we talked about 23 Ohio State and then Northern Illinois. So on the bright side, on the bright side. So a lot of time has gone by. What's up?
Same problems that we have with our roster. So,
I like this.
I think the Angeli thing obviously simplifies things a little bit, because I think even if we all deep down or not so deep down knew that he's probably not the highest top end, it's easy to root for the kid and wish him the best, obviously. But it will be fun to see where he ends up, and it'll be if it is a Syracuse or something, I think they play a lot of 12 o'clock games. They're like, throw some Steve on for the noon game, see what's going on. So, but anyways, I think that, and I got some thoughts on the quarterback. Nothing really too novel, I guess. But I got a few maybe questions to pose to you in the chat. But before that, the running back room, because that's just fun to talk about. I mean, holy crap, they're stacked. So, do you think it's practical to just go with a 2-back system, or do you think that we'll still continue to see? I know Cedars kind of flip flopped on like 2 backs versus a committee. What are your thoughts as of late? Because I haven't really. I haven't been tuned into as many shows lately, so I don't know if he talked about that Monday or whatever, but curious if you have any updated thoughts on that.
I mean, okay, so we're talking about the running back situation and what that's going to look like.
Yeah, let's start there.
Here's what I think. Okay, here's what's really, really interesting to me. Really good question. Goolsby and I have talked about this. When Cedar, whatever his name is it cider? Are we drinking the cider, cedar, whatever the name of the new, whatever the hell the name of the new running back coach is that came across from Penn State? Here's what I noticed. When he did his introductory, when they do an introductory press conference, get to know you, hi, but like all of those niceties when the guy first gets there and they're just figuring things out and whatever. In his first interview session, he said, we got all these guys. We love their skill set. They all need to play. We have a good rotation. We get to do all that, right? That was his position. Like 2 days on the job, whatever. A week and a half later, after he gets on the practice field and sees these guys running around, he gets back in the next time they get to talk to him and he goes, you know what, guys? I think Jeremiah Love's going to have to play a lot more. He's going to have to get a lot more touches and be a lot more involved. It seemed to me like once he got his eyes on these guys in spring practice, he realized Jeremiah Love's different, and you can't just divide up 100 snaps, 25, 25, 20. You got to highlight your guy that's the biggest difference maker. I think you're going to see maybe a little more of that. That's what I think. Now, is that room a little crowded? Do you think that room's a little crowded? Like, to me, I don't know, man. And I've heard a lot of people went after Price and maybe offered him a lot of NIL money, and say, think about the angle to sell Price on leaving would be, why do you want to be in Jeremiah Love's shadow? Come down to the SEC. We'll give you $1.5 million for this year. You'll be the bell cow back. We'll just hand the ball to you. Like, whatever you like. That's the selling point on trying to steal Price. Come up with a good price and then say, why do you want to live in Jeremiah Love's shadow? I've understood that he's turned that down and he wants to stay in Notre Dame. So I don't know.
I think there's room for the both of them to get plenty of touches. And I think there were certainly times last year where it's like, okay, Aeneas Williams is on the field, and albeit he had some amazing, the Penn State game, and I think all the playoff games, he had amazing, down moving or chain moving catches. So it's like, well, shoot, he's kind of got that third down, like receiving back role going. You could also ask yourself, like, do you want Jeremiah Love running the, always running the power run? Like, obviously he had the Penn State run that was heroic. It looked like a freaking Renaissance painting if you watched it in slow motion. It was wild, but it's but the thing is I don't know if we can necessarily rely on Jeremiah to have the durability factor through presumably 16 games, right? So
yeah, I think
I would almost.
Here's what I think about.
Go ahead.
Here's what I think about. What I think about is how do you set up touches for Love, whether it's little intermediate pass routes or the run game or whatever? Like, what I think about is, how do you reach the point where the two lines intersect of maximizing what Love can bring to this team as the biggest athletic difference maker on the offensive side of the ball that's proven, without running off the tread, risking injury, getting him banged up, or it's too much, too predictable? Like, where does those two lines intersect on the chart as far as what is peak maximum use of him without overdoing it to where it diminishes the returns or becomes too predictable or it exposes him to injury? That's what my mind is on. Like, what does that look like? Whatever the equation is that gets us to peak output from him without wearing him down and incurring that injury risk or whatever. So I don't know how you set that up, but if I'm the cider seeder, I got to love what I'm working with in that room.
Yeah. Because it's it's easy to look at it like you're playing the college football video game and you run the shit out of Love because you want to win the Heisman or something, and you can turn injuries off. You don't have to worry about that, and you can turn the transfer setting off, I think, if you want to. So you don't have to worry about Kedron Young transferring. It's just like, oh, I'll rush for 2,500 yards and have a little fun with the video game. But obviously this is real life, so I think they'll give the bulk to the top two. I do think that the role players will be interested. I think Aeneas proved himself to be a very reliable outlet when needed. I could see Kedron Young almost being like an Estime light, I think some people have called him, with maybe even a little bit more burst, which is scary to think about. I think the transfer discussion kind of comes to like Jadarian Price definitely got lost in the shuffle with his Achilles injury a year or so ago. So I could kind of see him being the odd man out. Like the real running back discussion to me, which isn't even a huge discussion, is like, who's the obvious transfer? And like, if you were to stack up Price and Aeneas, like one of that third down back kind of role, like, does Price win out? Does Aeneas win out? I could see one of those guys going, but and maybe you stick with Aeneas just for the sake of the youth. So anyway, maybe moving on from that one, and I'll try to keep this quick here. I'll maybe call back in Friday if I run out of time, but. on the wide receiver side of things. So I'm looking at, just the roster, right? You're looking at, as much as we talk about quarterbacks, which we'll get to, but you have clearly a run-first team. Nobody in America is going to deny that, right? So on the wide receiver room, it feels like, is it Malachi?
Yeah, Fields.
Right? I always get him Fields. Okay. There's another Malachi that I always have a little dyslexic slip up on. But anyways, Malachi Fields kind of seems like the first player since maybe like a Miles Boykin, where not a burner, like maybe got some deceptive speed, but just a big body that if you have him against, I don't know, like if the box is stacked and the safeties are rolled up and you got him on a 5'11", 6-foot corner, like which of the quarterbacks have a better ball placement to get in one-on-one coverage? Like put it to where only Fields can catch it.
Yeah.
And I would say, I don't know, just a wild thought that, like, yes, Minchie, I'm sure can do that, but I would say Carr probably more reliably can do that. And then you could say the same thing for, all right, can a KK Smith or a Cam Williams be one of the downfield guys? I almost don't even know if we, yes, of course, a Faison or a Greathouse could take the top off a defense, break some ankles and take a short pass and go the distance type of thing. But it's a very interesting, it feels like we actually have a blend of receivers and they're not all like 5'11" route runners and they're not all, as nice as it was having Claypool and Miles Boykin being one-on-one.
It's a really good point.
Mix things up.
It's a really good point. Goolsby often talks about the difference between guys that could get underneath like a downfield pass, you know what I mean? Get underneath it and catch it and go, is different than a guy that's going up and getting it. Do you get what I mean? How there's a guy that can get like a 5'11" speedster can get down the field and then get under it. But that's different than having a big body that could go up and get it. He compares Malachi Fields' game and body shape and movement to somewhat Brandon Marshall-ish when he was with the Bears. That's in his purview. And then I like it because you said, you can't have all these 5'10" little jitterbugs everywhere. And you also can't have a forest of trees, but nobody's quick. So you need a little more of a blend there.
Yeah, and your 2012 Stanford.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And so I do think you're getting somewhere there. And then here's what ties all the things you're saying together, man. Talking about the running back and the usage and the efficiency and efficacy there with all those bodies. Talking about the wide receiver thing. Talk about a quarterback, put it there. What ties all this together is that O-line. If that O-line could show up to Miami and they're even halfway healthy and put together, that is the common thread that makes everything we just talked about connect and work. It's got to be good enough, and it's got to be week one. You don't have time to tell Johnny, you don't know football takes half the year for the O-line to gel. I don't have half a year. You're going to you don't have a half a year. What do you mean it takes time to gel? You going to Miami first, and then you have A&M coming to you. You don't have no time to gel. What do you think this is? Son of a buck.
Oh, man. I didn't think I'd wind you up. I didn't have any crazy hot takes for you. But
whoa, but dude, it drives me crazy. Listen, man, it drives me crazy. Oh, it takes time for the O-line. You can't lose 3 or 4 games and then say, oh, but the O-line's gelled up now just in time for the Russell Athletic Ball. Doesn't do me any good to be gelled up after 3 losses.
So obviously last year, Riley, it'd be interesting if somebody went back and counted up how many sacks did he avoid. So on the stat sheet, probably made the offensive line look a little bit better at pass protection than they probably were. But has Goolsby compared the mobility of, because I haven't been able to catch some of the Monday Night Raws for a while, has he compared the mobility of Carr and Minchie to players that we generally know? Because yes, Minchie's got a little bit more bounce, the kid's doing backflips, all that kind of stuff, but he's obviously not a Jaden Daniels or a Lamar Jackson light or anything like that. So is the mobility separation, has he commented on player or comparisons or anything there?
Here's the way here's one thing.
or even like an Ian Book for that matter.
From Goolsby talking to Denbrock at the last two spring games where they have like the 415, I'm coming to you. When they have like the team comes back and the old guys meet with the new guys, they have a couple drinks. From those discussions, it's apparent that the guy that's got the most Jaden Daniels skill set in the roster is Minchie, as far as being able to move and having an arm and whatever. He's got, I'm not saying he's as good as Jaden or as fast as Dan, I'm not saying that, but just in that mold is more of that.
Yeah.
But then on the Carr side, I think you're giving up a little of that raw athleticism, like getting on your feet, but you're gaining a little more accuracy and then like an advanced knowledge of football because he's just kind of been born into it. And that's the way I kind of look at the balance there. Minchie, a little more naturally dual threat, but then like Carr, I look at as a little more advanced in his football mind, if that makes sense, and throwing a more accurate ball. That's kind of how I see the balance. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, I mean, just quick thought, I guess, is you look at Ohio State, clearly the whole wide receiver all that kind of stuff. I think Will Howard's a strong quarterback and was the kid that transferred to Syracuse. McCord, had some great stats and people pick on him for various reasons and stuff. But it's not like they were burners. They, and especially Will Howard, had sort of minimum viable speed to still be dangerous, even if that wasn't the core of his game. He could burn you if you over-index to like, stopping the pass and everybody's in coverage and nobody's home to spy or something like that. But I don't know. I think like if you look at the spring game too, remember that series where Angeli was down? Indias was not the back to hand it off 3 times in a row and let him get destroyed. But that's like nightmare scenario for me in Miami was Angeli rolls out there, has no wheels, and we just hand the ball to Love 3 times and he just gets crushed because there's no threat of a quarterback run. I mean, I think we're going to be in decent shape with either guy clearly, but it'll be interesting. So
yeah.
And probably the last like quick little thing, don't want to keep you is the eligibility side of it too. I don't know how much of that calculation rolls in, but like, do you think whichever guy it is it a reasonable estimation they could be the guy for 3 years, or do you think whoever it is will be 2 years and would probably be out of here?
You know what? It's a really interesting question because think about what you're asking. If they're quick, if it's 2 and out, that means they're really, really good, right? Because you would be going to the NFL and being able to leave early. So like you could argue the best case scenario would be the 2-year thing, but only if you get a title in those 2 years and then the guy moves along. You're right. Isn't that what, am I thinking of that wrong?
Yeah, that is fair.
So yeah, so it's like,
guess,
it's a good sign if a guy is that wanted in 2 years or whatever. That's a great sign that they've impressed. I just gotta hope that we match that success on the field before that guy leaves. So I don't know. Yeah, it's a good question though. Good to think about.
Yeah, the whole, I think it's easy to get enamored with the idea of 3 years of stability with either guy and just go on a run with them. But yeah, champagne problems if it's 2 and they win a Heisman and a Natty and off they go. Like,
dude, I really
anyways, Tom, appreciate the time, man.
Hey,
I'll let
thanks.
you go. I'll try to call in Friday. Had some thoughts on defense.
Listen, man.
I'm long-winded. Don't want to keep you. So,
crystal clear phone line, and good thoughts. It's really good hearing from you again, man. Call me again. Great call. Thanks.
Sure will. Take it easy.
Have a good one. Oh, you know me. I love the number one thing that can make Johnny happy is a crystal clear phone line. A crystal clear phone line. That's what I need. Andrew Gilmore. It's going to be loaded boxes until Carr / Minchie and the wide receivers makes teams pay. Same old story. Yeah. Yeah, 100%. Imagine what a Notre Dame team is capable of if you put together the defense we expect the Notre Dame program to put on the field. You like your running backs. You got that O-line people are going to like. Maybe the receivers are a different batch that actually moves the needle a little bit this year, and you're getting some progress there. I don't know. If you could throw it around and threaten people a little bit with that, you're dangerous then. Like it's you got to figure out a way to not allow teams to just stack the box and then run downhill and bring safeties up, and we're doing everything to crash the line, and we're not going to let you run, and we dare you to throw it, and if you can, then we'll tip our cap, but we're not worried about it. No. That all needs to be over. No. That all needs to be over. And the better the passing game is, the better the running game's going to be. Like, I see those things working in concert. I really do. The better you could throw it around, the more it should open up running lanes. And the better you could run it, the more you could throw it. So I see those things all intermingled. I see those things all intermingled. And so, yeah, I'm with you. Wide receiver thing, even Goolsby's to the point where he's like, I think this could be a little bit of a better group and we'll be able to get more out of it. But you know what I'm going to say? I'll believe it when you get behind Miami a few times. I just can't. I absolutely 100% refuse to be like, this is going to be the year the passing game is going to be different and the wide receivers are going to do things. Believe it when I see it. If you could get around and get behind Miami a couple times, Johnny's interested. But as far as counting on it, no. And here's the other part. Imagine if you have a quarterback who's known for being comfortable and his skill set is to throw the ball around. That was not Leonard's strength. Leonard's strength was like leadership, mostly decision-making, tough guy, run the ball, move the chains. But like, imagine if, think about it, when you're like, what is Leonard's strengths or whatever? How far down that list you have to be before you said throwing the ball around is a strength for Riley Leonard? You get what I mean? Like, you got to go pretty far down the list of things you like about Riley Leonard to get to where you're like, yeah, passing. But if that's Carr's strength, how much does that alone help? How much does that alone? Yeah, I said 415. I'm coming to you, I promise. And now he dropped off. He's got to get the kids off school. I took too much time. I messed it up again. Son of a buck. I need a producer. I need a sound engineer. I need a producer. I need a call screener. We're going to turn this whole thing into 670 the score. That's what we need. How about just good timing and accuracy? If you put the ball in the right spot underneath Faison, he's going to get yards. Yeah, I'll take that. But I'm just saying Ronald as producer. I just picture Ronald with the headphones. Oh, he's got the red hair sticking. He's got his headphones on. And he's like moving the switchboard and he's taking it all serious, but he's dressed as Ronald. Oh, man. Oh, that's funny. Yeah, I'm just saying, imagine what a Notre Dame offense in this, whatever's coming next in the Freeman era, would look like if you genuinely had a quarterback who's comfortable and good and at throwing the ball, and it's a strength and something he's known for and something he wants to do and is comfortable with. A lot of these Notre Dame quarterbacks lately, it's been like, oh man, you got to throw the ball. I don't know about that. Like, it shouldn't be. It shouldn't be like that, where you're like, oh boy, this is probably a passing down. I don't know how this is going to go. Why is it got to be that way? Why is it got to be that way? To where we're like, oh boy, I don't know about the passing game whole thing. I don't feel too good about that. Come on. Open it up a little bit. Open it up a little bit. Yeah, the blue monkey. He gone. That guy was on my final nerve. 949, good morning. What's going on?
Well, I got to tell you, if you put your daughter on the switchboards, that'll tide you over until you and the missus pump out a few more kids and they can take on the other responsibility.
It's like, hey, kid, you get to work in the basement. She's got the headset on. She's too mixing it. She's screening the calls. Yeah, that's a good idea, man. Like, hey, you want some allowance? Get down in that basement and work, sister.
Just give her jelly beans.
There you go. Yeah, I got a bunch of those still. I've been eating out of her Easter basket the last 2 days, by the way.
Isn't that what kids are for?
Oh,
By
man.
the way, And I'll tweet these to you, but I was at Publix here I'm up in Tampa at the moment, but Publix had a slew of Reese's Easter stuff,
Oh,
half
yeah.
price.
Oh,
And so
man.
I took a picture with you in
Woo!
mind. Yeah, I'll get that over to you.
Half price,
So,
baby. And then wait, real quick, with the jelly beans, you know why I enjoy it so much? Because it's something I'm never going to buy in a million years. And it's just like 2 days a year, I want to eat a couple jelly beans just because they're in the Easter basket. You never think about it again. You know what I mean? It's that kind of thing. Yeah.
Exactly. Hey, on West Palm Pat, so the same day, I mean, later in the day after his call, I get things in my newsfeed, living in South Florida, but talking about how the Hurricanes are rebuilding again with the need of transfers, and can they get a 10-win season this year? And then how Carson Beck might not play, and how other key, they're losing their kicker. They're losing a big defensive rush end. All this stuff right after West Palm Pat. But the kicker was on Instagram. Kai Trump's granddaughter, the golfer, she's at University of Miami. There's an Instagram post of her and the two twin basketball players, women basketball players, and she's asking them, well, does he have any friends? And they just go off on that. I'll tweet that to you as well. It's hilarious. I did put it in the chat here. I pasted the link. And speaking of Carson Beck, I don't think the Lambo and the other two cars were stolen. I think they got repoed by the Georgia boosters.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, that's a good point too. I didn't even think of that. That's a really good point. Can I ask this? Does anybody know his health status? Like, is he going to be fully recovered to participate in their summer camp and then be ready for Notre Dame? Like, I'll be honest, I haven't really sought out the information. I'm wondering if anybody has an idea how his injury recovery is coming along.
An article yesterday in Miami said that it was questionable. They were hopeful that he would be ready to start the season. So it's up in the air still.
Yeah. I mean, that's interesting. That's going to be a big, I don't know. And here we are, man. I'm already thinking about it. Maybe WPP's onto something, because here I am, and I find myself on the last day of spring ball, and I find myself thinking about Miami. Maybe he's onto something.
No, we're just clowning him because he was such a joke.
Oh, well, we leave the clowning and the joking to Ronald McDonald. That's his bit, right?
Yeah. Hey, don't overlook Navy. It's not too early to start thinking about Navy.
Oh, man. Can I just have like a few weeks in the summer here to relax and catch my breath before I have all this stress? Like, it is going to be you know what my marking point is? I say this all the time and I mean it. 4th of July is my marking point. If I can make it to the 4th of July without losing my mind, I know 3 more weeks and we're into football. And that is always, I lose my mind in the summer, and we just need to get to 4th of July. And then we're a few weeks away from football being back. That's my target.
Well, let me ask my computer for the answer. How many days until August 31st?
A few.
130 days until kickoff.
Oh, man. 100 and wow. We're going to have to find a way to entertain ourselves, people, but I think we can do it here. We'll do it, and we will build it up. It's going to be fun.
I'm ready. Go Irish. God bless you. God bless everybody. Go Irish.
Have a good one, man. Take care. Have a good day. Okay. So you guys are pretty quick. I said somebody come up with the son of a buck, and we got a son of a buck. So I don't know who was generous enough to change their name to son of a buck. Dude, you just think of all the weird little nuance in this my little ecosystem where if you're in it often, you totally get why everything connects and how it's funny. And if you're not, you're like, what the hell's wrong with this group of people? What a bunch of weird people. With the Wendy's, the Burger King, the Ronald McDonald, my boyfriend Omar, a son of a buck. Like, I just have the wine and cheese. We got it all, man. We got it all. It's a beautiful, beautiful thing. Oh, man. It's a better name than Surge. I mean, you could just have fun with it. And whenever I yell son of a buck, you could, Jay Lehman, I prefer the term unique over weird, but thank you. I mean, that's fine. I think I'm weird. I'm happy to admit that. I think I'm weird. Oh, man. Johnny, you have to go see the movie Sinners. Irish vampire kicks ass. That is interesting. That is very, very interesting. Irish vampire, that is a movie niche I definitely have not spent a lot of time in. Probably the closest to that would be all those Leprechaun movies, man. Every Halloween time I watch that Leprechaun movie, I want me gold. I love that little leprechaun, man. I love that leprechaun. He pogo sticks that pawn shop guy right on his chest. And he said, this old man, he has fun. I played pogo on his lung. And then he pogos that guy. Oh, man, I love it. Son of a buck. I'm going to cook up a new profile pic with Chat GPT. See what it comes up with. See what it comes up with on that, man. But an Irish vampire, that's a new one. That is a new one. I'm gonna have to check that out. Let's see. What else was I gonna do? All right. Here's something I want to go over real quick. Troy, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. Between your callers, the fans of the different teams, shark attacks, plain wieners, and the White Sox, time's going to go by pretty quick. Yeah, it definitely is. Although the White Sox are dead to me, you guys. Like, some people say, like, yo, my team sucks. They're dead to me. No. I am not watching one game. I'm not going to one game. I'm not listening to them on the radio. I'm not doing anything involved with them until ownership changes. I have been pushed too far. They've insulted the fan base way too much, way too often, way too many years. The way I explain it to people is it's one thing to be the worst organization in baseball. It's another thing for ownership to not care that you're the worst team in baseball. That's the situation we're in. They don't care. That gives me nothing. No hope, no anything. They don't care. I'm done until the team is sold to somebody that is sick of being an embarrassment. I'm done. So I'm out. And when they sell it and they get serious about playing winning baseball again, I'll be back in. But I don't wear them. All my sock stuff is in the closet. It's humiliating to wear it. It's all gone. It's all gone. It's all gone. So I'm done with them. They're dead to me. They are dead to me. So here's what we have coming up. Number one is, what's Freeman supposed to say today? Can somebody fill me in on that? They're saying that Freeman has a presser today or whatever. What's he going to say? Spring ended? Like, I'm not being sarcastic. I'm genuinely asking. Like, I have no idea what the purpose of this press conference is. I'm just telling you, I have no idea. Is it simply to say spring ended and we feel good about where we're at and we'll see you in August and these guys are hurt? Is that it? Whatever. I'm sure it'll be riveting. Like, I don't know. So you have that. And then I still don't understand the portal thing, you guys. I don't understand it. I was told all of this stuff was happening and Notre Dame fans, you're going to be surprised and shocked by these portal entries, bro. I am not shocked one bit. You haven't lost anybody that moves the needle to me that's like, oh my God, I was counting on this guy being a key contributor and now he's leaving. I'm devastated. I'm emotionally hurt. How could one of these guys not love Notre Dame the way I do and never want to leave? Whatever, bro. I ain't seeing any of that. I ain't seeing any of that. Son of a buck, I think she CC'd on a lot more than a couple of those emails, man. I have doubts about how that's all going to go. But when I see that 24-year-old girl with them freaking boots up to her knees and that tight outfit out there on the practice field, I don't understand what's going on, man. I don't understand what's going on at all. I just have no idea. I couldn't believe I saw the clip from North Carolina's practice, and she's out there in high heel boots walking around on the practice field during the practices. I would not react well to that if it was Freeman's wife out there in the middle of spring ball in these high heel boots walking all over the field during practice. That's just not. It doesn't seem right to me. You're not involved with the team at all. Why is your girlfriend out in the middle of the field running around during practice? Like, I don't understand. I'm just telling you, you asking for trouble. You're asking, we're just going to leave this conversation there. You're asking for trouble when you got her out there with her little knee-high boots walking around practice, but you're with the 80-year-old coach? Okay. You asking for trouble, but that ain't my place to say. She's his manager, I guess. Whatever. What do you think the UNC boosters are thinking? I think what they're thinking is this better work out, because if it does, then everybody none of this stuff will matter. But if it doesn't start to work out, and it almost just feels like Belichick's too big for the college circus. Do you get what I'm saying by that? It almost feels to me like Belichick in the football world is bigger than the college football landscape. And I just wonder if there's a point where he doesn't want to play the college games and all the BS that that's involved here. It just seems like he should be past all that. But maybe he's so addicted to football and this is a new challenge for him. He'll be re-energized by it. And if he needs a little more energy, you just run around with the 24-year-old, I guess. I don't know, man. It's just weird. She's pumping the team up like we should, John. I don't. I'm not trying to the whole thing's a little odd to me. And so I don't want to make any general. I mean, I don't know the situation. It's just a little odd to me. But I'm not being disingenuous when I say if Freeman's wife was wearing what that girl was wearing, running around, walking around on the middle of the field during spring ball practice, while they're practicing, she's running around on the field with these knee-high, high-heel boots on. That would not fly. I would not react well to that if it was Freeman's wife, who has nothing to do with the team at all, and she's out there. That's just not the time for that. Why are you doing that? That's not, it's bugging me. That's not the time for that. You don't work for the team. You're not an analyst for the team. You're not a coach. There is literally no reason for her to be out in the middle of the field with knee-high, high-heel boots on at all, other than to get attention and to make it a thing. And because she can, because Bill's in charge and Bill's her man. It all is weird to me, and I'm not a big fan. I'm not a big fan. And it has nothing to do with her specifically or Bill specifically or North Carolina. If it was anywhere, that's weird to me. That's just inappropriate to me. And I know you can do it because your guy is running the whole thing. You can do a lot of things that you still shouldn't do, right? Because you can is a bad reason to do a lot of things in life. You can do a lot of things. That don't mean you should. Slide. Slide. It would have been funnier if you moved those quotations between. If you move those quotations one word in, it gets even better. Is this what we're going to do for the next 4 months to pass the time in between me yelling about how much I hate Miami? WPP's got to be proud of me, though. I literally, Angela, you know I'm never going to grow up with certain things. Get out of here. Why are you even wasting your breath typing that? You know, why are you doing that? 757, what's going on?
Hey, John, how's it going? Hey, helping you support the time lapse in Miami. Hey, I'm looking forward to, I think Osborne, the running back, is supposed to commit, the end of next week? And some more good recruitment news hopefully coming down the way for the Irish in the next little bit. Overall, very bullish on our chances against Miami. I think people are underappreciating how devastated the defensive line really was throughout most of the latter part of last season. And it's really looking like that's going to be a strength this coming year. So I think Miami's going to have their hands full with the Irish so long as our new quarterback can just be halfway decent.
Yeah, man, I'm with you.
I'm feeling good about.
I'm with you. When you get into, May, June, July, really the only news you get is recruiting news. That's like the only thing popping. So, hopefully you continue a good run here and build up some of that momentum. And then, I don't know, man, it's just going to be such an important start to the year just because of how that schedule sets up. It's so front loaded this year. And that's a tough year to have a front loaded schedule when you're breaking in a brand new young quarterback, but it is what it is. And you got to be good enough to win anyways, damn it.
Yep. Hey, also on kind of random, summertime Notre Dame issues. Hey, so I was at the Indiana playoff game, and I was a 2011 grad, so I was before stadium modifications, and really we didn't have. I don't think at the time we had regular music. It was only band. So I've seen kind of the spectrum of the changes over the past 10 years or whatever.
Imagine, dude, those were the old days before the Jumbotron. All you used to have was the good old band in their corner, Yep.
I agree with you wholeheartedly, 100%. The worst thing about the modern Notre Dame stadium experience is the darn DJ lady or whatever in between, during the commercial breaks.
No,
that is miserable,
dude.
They didn't have that at the Indiana game, and it made a huge difference. And so I got the Notre Dame ticket office, football people, random call about the upcoming season. If any of you all get that. I told them, hey, I really, whoever plans this thing out, get rid of the darn pump-up lady in between the commercial breaks because it makes no sense and it's just super annoying.
Here's the thing, man. Here's the thing. I don't, oh, God, man, I don't want to be mean. Here's the thing, man. I'm with you. And I know that from all those games you were at that there was a lack of energy when you get to those 6-minute NBC TV timeouts and you're sitting there waiting and you see the guy with the orange cone on his hand, that's the TV guy winding the clock, letting them know when they're coming back from commercial. You could hear crickets in there. And I know sometimes they're like, oh, we're going to bring back a guy from 1932 that was on the team and then we cheer. But there was a lack of energy during that time because the NBC timeouts last forever. They feel like they last forever when you're in the stadium, right? The solution to that is not that lady yelling at me with a high-pitched, annoying voice. If you're going to do,
it's terrible.
If you're going to do the concept, you have to have somebody with a good voice. Her voice is high-pitched and grating, and they crank the volume up on the Jumbotron. It's horrible.
Yes. I mean, even the small sample of the, maybe they're changing it for the upcoming season, but I was at the Blue Gold game. And, they would do those little goofy interviews with the kids or they'd talk to the players. There's a ton of different things you can do to fill the kind of the dead space. But even if they did a kiss cam, I don't know, you go to the minor league game and they find all sorts of goofy stuff to do in between, innings. There's a bunch of different ways. I think the Bears kind of have a pump up person too, right? So I would just say Notre Dame is uniquely bad of sporting venues I've been to, at least the past couple seasons with their commercial break setup. It's terrible. So
Dude,
hopefully they get better this coming season.
It's really, I'm just telling you, there's something about that voice that is real grating when she hits the high pitch yell and it reverberates out of that 9,000 foot speaker in the Jumbotron. I just don't understand how you decide to do that with someone with a grating voice when they hit a high pitch. It's really, really rough, man. And so, but I'm with you. The Indiana game was totally different. It was a more professional thing. You didn't need to manufacture some energy because it was a playoff game. I enjoyed that experience way more than anything where she's yelling at me. I know that.
Yes. So I guess really my message is, if any of your listeners are also in a position or, can seek out an opportunity to provide feedback. I mean, I'd like to think that if enough people cry foul, that it was maybe a good thing that the team tried out or the stadium tried out, but let's perhaps go in a different direction. And then I guess the other kind of off-topic combo is I do like, and so I guess maybe in the minority, I don't necessarily like that they're selling booze in the stadium now. I liked being to where people would sober up. I don't know. I can see there's some benefit in having a bunch of drunk, crazy people, be in a state of lubrication throughout the game. But I kind of liked that, there was a tailgating, part of the day. And then there was let's, be in the game opposite, those extra, I guess alcohol not being involved. So I guess one, do you see any validity to that? And then two, do you have any red lines? So I do think and hopefully the folks in the stadium and then the university appreciate, it is kind of a big deal that we don't have Miller Lite and Coca-Cola advertisements all plastered all throughout the stadium. There's no Allstate advertisements or whatever. We're just a pristine Notre Dame stadium and it's all Notre Dame. And I don't think there are very, very many, if any, really college football venues that are like that. So, the introduction of stadium-wide advertisement, I mean, obviously I would still watch, right? But that would kind of, I see this alcohol inclusion of that as kind of a incremental step towards the full-on commercialization of the in-game or the in-stadium product.
Do you want to know?
Do you feel like it's inevitable?
You want to know my answer to this is I'm not trying to wiggle out of it. I'm not trying to weasel out of giving a concrete answer, but my reaction to everything you just said depends on where that money's going. It literally, I will change my opinion on how I feel about some of this, depending on where any of this money's going. If all this beer money and all that stuff, or you put up a Miller Lite sign with the leprechaun and a barcode you can scan on your phone and donate $5 and it's going to NIL, and it's staying in the program and it's going to help us build the team and go to the portal and get the best receiver next year because we're all drinking and the money for all that goes to that. That I'm interested in because it furthers our goal here. But if all that money's evaporating into nowhere land and going for another parking lot or art building, I'm less interested. Is that a cop-out? I genuinely look at it that way. If you tell me all that beer money's going to Notre Dame's NIL to get better players, I'm a lot more interested than if it's just going to general Notre Dame and I don't know football is going to get it.
No, I mean, I don't think it's a cop-out. And I think the beer, I mean, it sounds kind of goofy to say because we're talking about football, right? But it's the sanctity, I guess, it could just be a generational thing, right? Because when they did the expansion in the 90s, you hear older folks talk about it was, you could see the Word of Life mural less prominently, right? You can't see Touchdown Jesus as much with the expansion as you could have.
It's bothered me ever since.
Right? So that was
it's bothered me ever since.
That was a big deal.
I hated it. I hated it. All you had to do is to show some reverence. All you needed to do is a cutout where the tunnel is, right? And just not one little cutout there so that if you're on the other side, you could see straight through and acknowledge. You get what I mean? The upper bowl, just make a little rectangle cutout to honor the gap there. And then you don't need whatever those seats. That has always bothered me, but that's a niche thing to me, but it's always bothered me that you kind of covered my man up.
Yeah. So I guess I do think it'd be a big deal if they introduced because I think it's kind of a circular argument, right? Like, if you introduce advertisement in the stadium, then you're making more money so that you notionally have more to provide for NIL. But it's really like if everything's working like it's supposed to, the players should, earn their quote unquote fair share of the revenue generated. But it's like you're generating more revenue in order to give more money away. Like, I don't know, like you're making the pie bigger just so that everyone makes more money, not necessarily like giving people their just share of a smaller pie. So I don't know. I think the sanctity and like the cleanness of Notre Dame Stadium should be respected. But people have been resisting change for a long time. But I just throw it out there that hopefully they don't go in that direction. Not indications that necessarily they are, but it's just like, dominoes continue to fall towards the, more and more commercialization of the sport, which at that point, I guess there's only so much erosion you can have until you're literally just like NFL light. Yeah. And there need to be blocks against that.
Yeah. Listen, some of these changes I've been resistant to or whatever. If any of them, you could convince me it's going to help the program, like on the field, then I'm a lot more open to whatever ideas you have about advertising or beer sales or whatever it is. Like, I'm being very upfront that I'm that shallow. If you can convince me in an argument that any of this stuff is going to help go right back into our football thing, I'm a lot more open to it than if it's just general money that goes somewhere in Notre Dame or whatever. So I'm selfish. And if you could sell me on that, I mean, dude, I've thought about it. You can have a lot of drunk people driving on that toll road back to Illinois late at night. You know what I mean? Like, it is like, it is, man. You don't have those 3 or 4 hours to sober up. You keep the party going. You know how it is, man. Like, there's going to be a lot more drunk people leaving on the toll road. Just like every concert in a big city, half the people are hammered when they leave. It's going to be what it is.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I can let you go, John. I appreciate the show. I love listening to every day.
Thanks a lot, man.
It can be a struggle here in the dog days of summer, but yeah, I'm really looking forward. I think we're going to put a hurting on Miami. I think Freeman's going to come out for the boys, and it's going to set us up for a good 2025.
I like it, man. Give me a call back soon. Thanks.
All right. Thanks, John.
Have a good one. This man's against the Miller Lite. Hey, you could do any of this gimmicky marketing business stuff, bring more money. If it's going back into the football program, you could sell me on it. And if it isn't, then no. Yeah, you guys have all done that to me before. The joke of like, they're not going to allow you to tailgate anymore or whatever. I think, yeah, try that. Good luck with that. Eric asks, John, would you rather win a natty or be 6 feet tall? What do I need to be 6 feet tall for? What do you mean? I'm not going to try out for the NBA, and what's 6 feet going to do for me? Give me the title. What do you mean? Would you rather win a natty or be 6 feet tall? What am I going to do with a few more inches? Don't answer that. I got to blow my nose. I'll be right back. This show's got a weird feel to it today. I don't know what's going on. But honestly, what do I need a few more inches for? I'm already, what am I going to do? Give me the title. Give me the title. I'm just wondering, how materially different is my life going to be if I'm 6 feet tall? Oh, that's funny. He's a limp biscuit. Oh, you guys are funny. No, look at this. WPP. Yeah, you know me. WPP. Yeah, you know me. This caller has very high IQ. The band should play only the band should be the only music heard in this stadium. The rest is garbage. Lack of energy in the stadium came from having head coaches with low IQs. Maybe they should hire you, John. Listen, you guys. No, I am saying I don't like the pitch of that girl's voice. I'm not acting like I would do any better. Who wants to hear me? Son of a buck, 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 buck. And it echoes all throughout the greater South Bend River Valley. Nobody wants that. When the team's coming out, what do you want me to do? Yeah, that's right. Here comes the Irish. Like, come on, man. I'm going to scare the kids. Nobody wants that. Nobody wants that. This show's a little weird, man. 330, what do you know?
Hello, is this John?
It is indeed.
Hey, John, I'm a first-time caller, and I just want to make a few points before I start talking football. Is that okay?
Sure.
Okay. So, first of all, I want to send out my condolences to Pope Francis and the entire Vatican. I was wondering, do you have a prediction of who could be the next Pope?
I do not. I'll be honest with you. Maybe I'm a lapsed Catholic because I don't know the bench. I don't know the roster of who there is to choose from. I did scan through an article that looked at potential options, but I'm not going to act like I'm knowledgeable on the inside of that.
Okay, gotcha. There are odds out there, which I found kind of humorous. There's actual betting odds, so that's why I was asking about that. But also too, everyone was talking about the alcohol. And
dude, wait a second. Don't you find it a little entertaining and somewhat ironic that you could bet money and be a degenerate gambler over something like the Pope? Like, I find the dichotomy there of like, you're a degenerate gambler. There's no more football games. You get to gamble on this. I find that dynamic entertaining.
Oh, I find it hilarious. Yeah. There were betting odds in Las Vegas about it. And I found it quite humorous myself.
Yeah, I think that's funny.
And that's why I wanted to ask you about it, because I know someone of your good humor would find that pretty funny.
Yeah.
So my next question is about this alcohol thing, and then I'll get to the football part. So you know how 30 minutes after a Notre Dame home game, there's always a mass, correct? And it's always like you can barely get in the basilica. Do you find it a little bit concerning that there could be drunk people getting in there?
Here's my thought. I actually thought about this. Here's my thought. I got a sneaking suspicion the people that are going to be drinking the most all day at these games are probably the least likely to be scurrying over to mass right after the game ends. And I'm not making any judgments on that. I just have a feeling the heavy drinking crowd that's going to enjoy that the most will probably be the least likely group that's like, you know what we need to do right after this is go to church. I have a sneaking suspicion it's going to go that way. And that would be my intuition. I don't know, though. Maybe I'm wrong.
Yes, I agree with that. I always have different scenarios that run through my head. So I was thinking, I was just wondering what your take would be on that.
Yeah, it's really interesting. And then you know what else is very intriguing about this? I've gotten to know many of the ushers because they listen to my show. And then at the tailgates, when they're checking in and they're on their way in, they stop by and say hi. So I've gotten to know a lot of these ushers. And they're kind of thinking, gone are the days where like they have to kick people out because you got a flask in there and you're not allowed to, and people are sneaking drinks in and trying to do all that. Maybe that eliminates some of that because you could just get a cup of wine or a beer and just sit there. So maybe it makes their lives a little easier in that way because you're not chasing down every water bottle with vodka in it. I don't know.
Yes, I agree with that point. And as far as my football, I was thinking about CJ Carr, and I understand Kenny Minchie's in the running for this and everything. Because there's probably betting odds too about this, like the Pope about who's going to be the starter. But I think CJ Carr is going to be the starter. And I think it's just because he can read the defenses the best. I think he's been reading defenses since he's been in his mother's womb, pretty much. And
Yeah,
I think
I would bet my money on that. I push back on people who say it's a total done deal, like it's a guarantee. I push back on that. But if you force me to put an amount of money on it on a bet, I would bet it on him. But I don't think it's a done deal quite yet. But he would be the one I'd put more money on.
Yeah, and I think he's got. And I'm not saying Kenny doesn't have this, but I think CJ's got. What am I trying to say? I think mentally, I think he's just a gamer. I think he's going to show up when the lights are on.
Yeah, but dude, I don't think it's I don't think it's hyperbole when he grew up in the family he did to entertain the argument that he's got an advanced football IQ because of all that high-level family football that he's been a part of his whole entire life. I don't think that's a stretch.
Yeah, like I mean, this is a bad example, but I'm going to use it anyway. Like that Northern Illinois game last year, Riley Leonard was getting extremely frustrated on the sideline, and you could see him like kind of hanging his head, and you could see he was getting down on himself. If that was CJ Carr, I think you would have won that game just with CJ Carr, because I don't think he's the type of kid that's going to hang his head. He's going to put his head high. He's gonna get better as the game goes on. And I even think he would do that better than Kenny myself.
Yeah, it's and here's the flip side of this though. There's all this hype. There's always been hype, especially around Carr. We're listing all these attributes and the reasons he should be good in this and that. What I don't want to do is I don't want to build this guy up to where we expect it all to be perfect because of all this stuff in our head when the reality is he hasn't started a game in college yet. Like my biggest challenge with all of this is going to be being mature enough to understand I have to have a little bit of patience with certain things here. So I don't want to like expect too much of him, but at the same time, I think some of this to expect is fair. You get what I mean?
Yeah, I understand completely. He's going to have his mistakes. There's going to be the ups and the downs. He might throw a pick against Miami, but our defense is going to be there to back him up. Those degenerate Miami fans and those that team, they're not going to be able to score a lot of points on our defense, especially Carson Beck. If he's lucky to make it to the stadium because his cars got stolen. So,
it's man. And I still, here's the other thing, man. Maybe I'm wrong, but I feel like all of the early season momentum Miami had last year being in playoff position, I just feel like that quarterback they had was the main driver of anything good that happened last year. And then it all eventually fell apart. I'm not sold they're going to have a total good put together defense. I'm not sold that I'm scared of Beck. Like, even if he's healthy, like there's a lot here. And you want to feel like Notre Dame's in a more solid, stable spot and whatever, man. That's a big one. That's a big one. All of America's watching, man. That is a big one.
Well, yeah, they couldn't even win the ACC with Cam Ward. And, they haven't won the ACC since they joined that conference. So, yeah, if they couldn't win it with Cam Ward, they're not going to win it with Carson Beck. And I think our defense alone is going to be enough to just kind of be enough for CJ Carr. He's going to be just fine in his first part. And I don't think Marcus Freeman or Denbrock's going to hold back either. They're going to go out there. They're going to throw slot fades. They're going to open the playbook for him. And he knows that playbook already. I mean, he studies that playbook and studies film more. I mean, just as much probably as his schoolwork, you know. And he's a smart kid.
Yep. It's man, it's this is going to be think about the tone. The first 2 games of this year are going to set. It is either going to be we're off to the races. We got a young quarterback that's a winner, and look at what we're doing. Or it's going to be panic, and it's going to be premature panic. But like if those first 2 games have issues, it's going to be stressful. And so the biggest challenge to me in all this is having the maturity to realize you're going with the young guy. There's going to be a learning curve, and we all need to. That's what we're signing up for. I need to understand that.
Yeah. And look, I mean, I think we're going to win our first 2 games, but and this is a big if Notre Dame loses one of those games, and if they do lose one of them, it'd probably be A&M. But if they would lose one of the games, I still think they're going 11-1.
Yeah, if you did 11, if you went 11-1 again with a rookie quarterback, man, you're in a real good spot as a program. If you're able to pull that off with the youngster back there for the first time, that means all your other supporting cast are really, really good, can make up for any rookie mistakes. Like if you're able to do that, man, you're looking in good shape, not only for next year, but whatever comes after it. I'm excited to see how it's going to go.
Yeah, me as well. And I want to ask you one more thing, and then I'm going to let you go because you probably have more callers. But Notre Dame's like 37 deep at running back right now. Do you have? I mean, I don't know if you have a prediction or not, and you don't have to say if you do. But do you have like a sneaking suspicion who could be entering the portal? If somebody enters the portal at running back.
Here's the thing,
possibly.
man. Here's the thing. My natural thought was Price, because I think it's a great sell to Price for another school to say, come to the SEC, we'll give you $1 million. You'll be the bell cow back. We'll base everything on you. You'll get the bulk of the carries. You're going to be our workhorse star, rather than you living in Jeremiah Love's shadow and everybody wants to talk about him. I have been told teams approached him with that and he rebuffed them and is staying at Notre Dame. Anything lower than that, I don't know. I don't know. Like anybody lower on the depth chart than that, but I thought that would be the angle that could maybe work to get him out of there and say, we'll make you the star. That didn't happen. I heard that he turned it down, wants to be here. So that's great.
Yeah, that's good. I heard the same rumors, and the same, not really a rumor, the same thing, but maybe Price after Love leaves this year, maybe Price wants to stay next year and be the man.
Yeah.
But
you're right though. It is crowded. It is a crowded room, and you may lose somebody lower on the depth chart, but like that's a good problem to have. You know, like that's not like panic time. It's like, look at how many good backs we have, and there's not enough carries to feed them all. Like that's a good problem to have, not a bad problem, you know?
No, and I don't know. I mean, maybe Jabron Payne. I'd hate to lose Payne, but at the same time, like you said, it's a good problem to have. I don't know if he'd go to a school like Cincinnati or something because he's from that area. I would really hate to lose Kedron Young. I really like that kid. I think he could have a breakout year within the next year and a half. I think Kedron Young's great. If he improves his third down blocking, I think that's the only reason Aeneas Williams got ahead of him on the depth chart this year, because his probably more reliable hands, and he was a better third down blocker. But Kedron Young, man, that guy is a beast when he gets the ball in his hands.
Hey, I just like having options, and you got a lot of good ones there, and I feel good about where we're at there. Hey, man, thanks for giving me a call. Appreciate it. Try and call again.
Oh, I will. All right. I'll catch you later. And pay attention to that Pope. We'll see who the next Pope is.
Yeah, we'll
Right.
check
Maybe
it
it'd be
out.
cool.
We'll do some gambling, and then I'll go to confession to apologize for my gambling. How about that? We'll do that. Catch me outside. How about that? Swan Dong, Jeezy, for Pete's Dragon. They could play in Africa and get a photo op the kids wearing the ND 2025 National Championship shirt. Man, that hurts. That's funny, but it hurts, dude. You know what that reminds me of? WPP's coming up. We'll see if he approves of my attire today. He better. Pope, always Irish senior. I like that. This is what this reminds me of. Me and Pat were at one of our college roommates' weddings in Mexico for Notre Dame's title game in 2012. Obviously, the wedding was planned for like a year. I'm figuring we're not making it to the championship, so it's not a big deal to me if we're in Mexico for that. Sure enough, we're in it. Pat and I change our flights home from Mexico to be able to get back to Midway in Chicago before the game starts that day. Whatever, the whole thing. We get our brains beaten and totally exposed as frauds in front of all of America. Thanks to Brian Kelly, we get totally blown out. Why in God's name would you go to Mexico? Ronald, what part of one of our friends got married in Mexico what part of that is confusing to you? Okay. So, dude, quit talking about politics. This is not that kind of show. I don't want to make it that kind of show. All that does is divide everybody up. Can we just yell about football, please? So then I get back. We get our brains blown out. I'm all depressed. I'm all upset. And then a couple days later, this package comes and it says from, whatever play the BCS or whatever. And I open it. And it's a care package from the national title game. One of my friends that went to the game, they had a booth set up where you could buy a care package from that and send it to a friend. And then I get this thing in the mail 3 days later. I get this package in the mail with all this BCS stuff, a t-shirt, a lanyard, a hat, a sweater, whatever. And I just took it and threw it in the garbage. That's my only story. What am I going to do? Are you going to get this depression package in the mail? And I just threw it in the garbage. John, you're not very smart, are you? Dude, I have no idea what you're talking about. We went to a private resort in Mexico and drank and ate a lot of food and went in the ocean. It wasn't that dangerous. We weren't fighting the cartel to be able to get to the beach for the wedding, man. It wasn't that serious. It wasn't that serious. I don't know what you're talking about, Ronald. You lost me. WPP, do you approve of my attire today?
Hey, John, it's Pat from West Palm. Your attire, yeah, you've begun the process of repenting.
Yes.
So I'll give you credit on
Yeah,
that.
we're going to crank it up now, man. We're going to crank it up.
So anyway, 2 callers ago, there was a very smart guy that called in. He was talking about the beer in the stadium. And, I've been itching to talk about that, but I figured you guys had already covered it in my absence. So I didn't want to mention that topic unless it was, if it had already been beaten to death.
Do you believe that? Do you believe
tell
that
me
is? Does that offend you as a Catholic institution to go that way, or are you open to it if the money helps the program? Which way do you go on this?
Well, that's a great question, John. And I come at this. I'm from New York originally, and when I was a kid, my father used to take us to the horse races. To watch Aqueduct Racetrack, Belmont Racetrack. This is going to be relevant in a moment, John, so just stick with me. And what would happen is after a thoroughbred horse race, the jockeys would take the horses to the paddock, and then the jockeys would walk down this path into this tunnel underneath the bleachers, the stands where the fans are, and the tunnel led into the locker room. And at the racetrack, when the jockeys hit the tunnel, all these fans would dump beer on them and spit and yell all kinds of curses at these poor jockeys because they were, they blamed the jockey for the outcome of the horse race, right? And the 80s, back early 80s in New York City was an unbelievable environment, really. Anyway, there was 3 ingredients that led to that. Number 1, there was gambling. Number 2, a lot of alcohol at the stadium. And number 3, the jockeys were paid employees. They're paid to ride those horses. Well, now you turn to Notre Dame Stadium, and I tell you, I have a brother who's like 10 years younger than me. He's gambling on his phone. All of his friends gamble on their phones. Gambling is now everywhere in this country. And so Notre Dame Stadium has the gambling. I'm sure a lot of those fans have put money on the game. Now it has the alcohol, and the players get paid. You follow me?
Yeah.
So are we turning Notre Dame Stadium, the house that Rockne built, into Aqueduct Racetrack, such that these players are going to get beer showers?
Man, oh God, I would really hope that doesn't happen. But the way I think about this, Pat, is it almost just feels like that's the way this is all going. And it's like, you want to be like Notre Dame's different or whatever, but like you said, this stuff is becoming everywhere all the time, everywhere you look. Like, is this just the natural progression in wherever this whole milieu thing is heading? Like, is this just not the next natural progression? You got the gambling on this stuff. You got the alcohol money to put on for NIL. Like, is this just kind of where everything's going, and you either get with it or you get left behind? Like, I don't know whether this is like I'm swimming against the modern current if you push back on any of this, or do we need to like go with the flow and be more open to the idea that the times are changing? I don't have the answer.
Yeah, I continue to think about it, the issue, because I enjoy a drink every now and then, but I actually, and I'm John, I think you know me well enough by now. I'm not a man to boast, but I once smuggled in 18 cans of Busch Light in my sweatshirt into Notre Dame Stadium when I was a senior. I had this navy blue thick sweatshirt with the Irish letters stitched across the front.
Wait, where did you hide 18 of them? Where did you hide 18?
I tucked my sweatshirt in the front and in the back, and I stacked them up on my chest and in my back. I looked like a robot. People think I'm a liar. 18 beers I had in that, cans of beer. Anyway, but what I'm getting at, John, is the days of smuggling alcohol into the stadium are over.
Yeah.
Because the school makes money off selling it. So I think they're going to charge probably $15 a beer. I actually think there's going to be less alcohol consumed in Notre Dame Stadium going forward than there was before they started selling it.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, the whole reverse prohibition
thing. They're going to be confiscating.
Yeah.
They're going to be confiscating people's flasks. They're going to be smelling people's breath. They're going to be feeling people down, patting people down for beer. There's going to be less alcohol sold in that stadium.
Yeah, it's
consumed in that stadium.
It's going to be interesting. I sincerely mean this, and I am this shallow that I'm openly admitting it on this program to everybody who's listening. If any of the money for all this goes for the football program, I'm okay with it. If it just goes into nowhere land and nobody knows where it ends up, I'm a little less for the idea with the alcohol and all that. Andrew Gilmore said sometimes if you want to bring your kids and go to like a game and you end up with a row of a bunch of drunk people falling on you, screaming the F word the whole day, that gets a little old. And I do understand a concern with that. So I don't know, man, but you want to talk about Notre Dame getting modern? I didn't expect the alcohol thing in the stadium. That's pretty modern.
Yeah, I think that the school will never disclose where alcohol sales money goes. They'll never disclose it because, they'll be accused of encouraging more consumption of alcohol. And the first time somebody drives drunk, they're going to sue the university, and they're never going to say what the money goes to. No seller of alcohol ever discloses this is what we're doing with the money, because you get accused of overselling or selling to minors and all that. There's legal implications with that.
But I do think,
so we'll never actually learn.
Tennessee and Georgia, I believe, like when you're at a concession stand at their games, and I know Tennessee already sells alcohol there, while you're waiting in line, there's a little barcode. What is it? The square that you do with your phone, and you could donate money to the NIL while you're waiting in line to get a beer. Like, do you know how many drunk people are probably like, hell yeah, brother, I'm doing this to help the team. Like, I bet you it all adds up. It's a little tacky, but I think it all adds up.
No, it's tacky, but it's clever marketing.
Yeah.
It is. If the goal is to make money, I'm curious, I haven't been in the stadium in like 7 or 8 years. Do they still have the bathrooms where it's one long trench that you do your business in, or are there actually separate doors?
No, I don't recall seeing a trough in a long time. I think they redid all that. There, you get your own little unit there with a little wall between each one. Now, it isn't the old Wrigley Field trough.
Well, they got to bring back the troughs.
Yeah,
because I dudes, I remember kids using the sinks back in the day. But anyway, this is potty talk at this point.
Yeah, that's man, I get you. It'll be interesting to see how this experiment goes. Maybe you get a little less people overdoing the drinking in the parking lot because they know they could keep the party going when they're in there. Like, maybe you actually get a little less people getting totally blitzed in the parking lot because they don't feel like they got to jam in all their fun before they go in there if they don't plan on sneaking something in. It's going to be interesting. It'll be an experiment.
Well, I know the days of smuggling alcohol in are over.
Yeah.
If that school's making money off selling alcohol, they're not going to let you bring your own. No way.
Yeah.
No way. Those days are over.
It's going to be interesting. All right, Pat, I got to get going. I got stuff to do today. I'm going to have to cut the show. No problem, man. I wore this Catholics and convicts for you, man. We got to get this Miami thing going. Thanks a lot, Pat. Thanks for the donations.
Right,
see you.
Good.
Yep. Sorry guys, I see 415 and my main man. I got to get going here, you guys. I'm sorry. 415, I missed you, and that's my bad. You were on hold, and then you had to go to take the kids to school. I missed you guys. Ronald McDonald, you were a moron. Well, thanks for being here and appreciating your humble host. You got white face paint and a red wig on, and I'm the moron. Dude, try explaining to anyone else some of this stuff in here. Like, do you ever just think there's so many stupid little angles and personalities and all this stuff? Try explaining any of this vibe and dynamic to anybody that's not in it, man. So I'm sorry, my main man Martinez 415. I got to get going. I said I don't have the usual babysitter, so I have kid concerns I usually don't have. I got stuff I got to do with her, get her off school, whatever. So doing the best I can here. Stay tuned. I got something coming out for you on Patreon that's a little more on the fun side, and then obviously I'm gonna have a video for you guys tomorrow on Patreon. John needs my 2-hour nap. Yeah, I've been up for about 2 hours. I need a 2-hour nap now. Worn out. Love you guys. Love that. This show had a kind of a lighthearted, fun energy, man. I'm being a little weird. I enjoyed it. Thanks for the donations. Thanks for the calls. You guys are awesome. I love this situation. Roger Dodger, one more thing I have for you, Dodger. I got a video coming out you're going to have some particular interest in. That'll be my hint for you guys. But Roger Dodger, I got something cooking that I think is going to be supremely intriguing to you specifically. You can all use your imagination on what it's going to be. Love you guys, even the trolls. Ronald, see ya.